Alright, so it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but I can't make out a lot of the stuff on the vehicle, but looks like a propaganda mobile. So let's just go on with it.
Independently confirmed through one of my contacts that arrest was effected in Florida. One individual described to me as a male suspect, and that the plan at that time, it's very fluid, but the plan at that time was to bring the suspect to the main FBI office in Miami. I just want to kind of reset a bit, because late yesterday we were able to confirm through two sources that based on the postal tracking and postal markings on some of the packages, that Florida had been described to us as a region of interest in the investigation. And then shortly after that, we had federal agents as well as postal inspectors.
All right, so those stamps aren't even marked. Apparently they were dropped off in the first place. They're made out of plastic, which cannot create the static pressure of the vessel, or maybe I'm saying it wrong, but basically the PVC is not a proper container for an explosive device.
Descending on a U.S. postal facility just outside of one of the Miami airports. We understand that they did a sweep of that postal facility as a precautionary measure, but then they also did a review of the CCTV footage specifically on these self-service mail kiosks inside that facility, the Opa-locka facility, and also surveillance footage from the surrounding businesses. I also want to add that what we've heard consistently in the last 72 hours is that there is this wealth of forensic evidence that was allowing the investigation to move quickly and also very aggressively. We were told today that they had taken the stamps as well as the other components of the bombs to the Quantico, Virginia FBI labs, and that they were looking at these stamps to see if they were finding traces of saliva also.
It looks like a guy's pulling a motorcycle or a chip or something. I can't make out what that is on the back there. They might just blurred out the license plate, but getting ready to tow it.
Other DNA, and that the investigation had progressed to the point that the FBI was reaching out to retailers. They didn't tell us the part of the country, but to retailers to see if they could identify the points of sale for components of the bombs as well as the packages built. So all of this now sort of...
And that's the thing, is like a person wouldn't just be like, well, shouldn't say that, but it's gonna, to do an attack and stuff, it takes months of planning. You can't, I mean, a person can't just go in and be like, oh, I'm gonna buy all this stuff and make it look really suspicious and whatever else. But yeah, I mean, it really did look like a prop, digital clock and everything. I mean, that'd be more of a time bomb set up, whereas if it were a package, and then there would be a trigger upon opening the device.
Coming into focus, that the investigation was moving, as we suspected, very clearly and quickly based on this wealth of forensic evidence, and now confirmation from at least one of my contacts that arrest was effected this morning. That arrest took place in Florida, and the suspect was identified to me as a male suspect.
Okay, we're looking at a picture here from Plantation, Florida. We're getting to Phil Keating in a moment. Are you hearing some of the suggestions from some reporting could be that the person in who was suspicious here, could have had a grievance with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because all these packages appear to have return addresses to her office in Sunrise, Florida. Have you looked at that yet and gotten a clear answer on that, Catherine?
I don't want to speculate on something that significant, other than to say that investigators have been very keyed in on the similarities in these packages. The manila envelopes, the interior bubble wrap, the excessive postage, the 6 American flag stamps that we've seen on all of the devices and the packages that have been recovered, similarities with the bomb, and then this return address to Debbie Wasserman Schultz that was misspelled. And remember, in the early days of this investigation, we had the reporting that the device sent to the former Attorney General Eric Holder, his office, it was returned because the address was not correct, and then it was rerouted to Debbie Wasserman Schultz's office. That was the office which was the return address. And if you remember, maybe we could bring up.
All right, so Warner's got 2. Oh yeah, freaking carbon emissions meeting to stop them when, okay, yeah, Jesus, I need to just stop. Yeah.
One of the photo images of the devices. When you look at it, you can see that it also uses this overly large block black print. And the reason that's important is that I've heard from multiple sources that the large black block print on any of these devices often has an embedded coating, which can help investigators can't see it with the naked eye, but if you're looking at it forensically, it can help.
And microprint, people. Microprint. And the FBI has countless batches of ink on file to match records and stuff.
Identify the printer lots that were likely used to print those labels, and then you can get to a point of sale or a part of the country pretty quickly.
Interesting stuff. That's how they sort of piece it together, bit by bit. Catherine, thank you for that.
No. Alright, let's see what else is going on. See if we hear anything else. Let's oops.
It's time now for
And the thing is, it's not a mail bombing because there hasn't been any bombs going off. Possible no how to use product national dog. Alright, so I'll keep it posted. I just want to go with Oops, not bomb it.
And let me go to Geraldo. Geraldo, that was a point you were making. You're on the ground. You're right down the block from what we're witnessing here. You mentioned the fact.
I fucking love Geraldo. Like, he's such a pompous motherfucker and an asshole. Like, good golly. I mean, I just love him. I mean, like, he's such a character. And, yeah.
There are cameras everywhere, Geraldo. It makes it a lot harder in this day and age.
I totally believe, Sean, that until this incident tonight, they were tightening the noose around the Austin serial bomber. There is, according to Mike McCall of the House Homeland Security Committee and other local officials, they not only have surveillance video that could possibly identify the person, but they also have confirmed that all of the incidents until this one tonight were linked, same perpetrator or perpetrators. Now this lady...
You know, the media it was very quick to pounce on the suspicious package story instead of reporting the facts. This is what they did. I want you to see it.
Let's remember, we have a president who has talked for couple of years now about imprisoning his political rival in Hillary Clinton, who has encouraged violence against the media.
Lock her up. Lock her up.
The president and his allies, they need to dial down the political rhetoric. They are making people less safe, they are making journalists less safe, and they are making law enforcement officers less safe.
The Obamas, the Clintons, John Brennan, CNN, George Soros, these are people and organizations that President Trump continually attacks.
So at a time when our country needs to come together, what role does the media play right now? It seems to me that they just keep hitting this idea that it's somehow President Trump's fault. I would like, for once, people to take some responsibility. Forget the victimization thing. I'm over it. Take some responsibility. We're all in this together. You can't point fingers at just one person and say nobody else there is to blame. Anyway, joining me right now with much more, Fox News correspondent at large, Geraldo Rivera. And I want to know what you think might have happened here, sir.
At the risk of sounding like a far right-wing lunatic, I have to say that I believe that this whole thing was an elaborate hoax. I believe that those bombs were never intended to explode. I think those bombs were intended to further divide the American people. I think it is entirely plausible. I haven't picked a lane in this. Maybe it was a wretchedly incompetent bomber who didn't know how to make a bomb, that never studied the internet. I mean, I guess that's possible. Someone who wanted to embarrass President Trump, somebody who wanted to affect American political life. It could have been a Russian invention.
So, just take that in consideration. And then, oops. What we'll do is,
fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets, fight in the streets, fight online, fight at the ballot box.
You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them.
I will raise some money. I would start a GoFundMe account for anyone that takes that wig. Take that wig. I'm saying she wears a hair hat. I'm not using that as code to like hurt her and stuff. I'm just saying take her hat.
anymore, anywhere.
Their idea is.
And at the same time, you know, here a woman who has gender or has identified with certain demographics is calling on people to. Well, we need to ban them niggers. Them Trump supporters, they be niggers. We can't let them into our freaking, you know, use our water fountains and into our schools and into our restaurants. We can't allow them niggers into our country or to get away with this. No, I'm not calling any. Jeez. I mean, look at my videos about nigger.
Look, nonviolence hasn't worked, and we are going to try to stop this. President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Other way. That's it right there, pull it up. Because I'm throwing that piece of shit against the wall till it sticks. Our democracy is under siege. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator. We need a revolution at this point.
We will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face.
Spokesperson, the mouthpiece for the President of the United States, to say you don't know me in certain quarters in this nation, that starts a physical fight.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death. And there's no mistaking the Trump connection.
I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. So please bring on the recession.
They asked me would I like.
And so that's right. That's the other thing too, is the Democrats own half the money, or possess half the money, and the Republicans possess the other half. And so I think that the Democrats are throwing the stocks and everything of that nature. This is a multi-pronged attack.
Debate this gentleman. I said no. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
And everywhere, people are marching, protesting, tweeting, speaking out, and working for an America that's hopeful, inclusive, and big-hearted.
So, I mean, we get the point. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, and watch out for the crazies out there. Even if we are the crazy ones.